Hi. Alright. You may wonder why my voice is like this. It's for a reason. It's for a really, really big reason. Um, um, I'm gonna make this a 5 hour video. 5 hours. And, uh, I saw it because in the poll it said 24-hour live stream, but no, I'm not gonna do 24-hour live stream. And also to make this harder on myself, I'm not doing it as a live stream so people can go in the, chat and stuff. No, I'm yeah, I'm making it. I'm making it. Not that. What? That's, well, anyways, yeah. So this is the part 5 for begging for it back. Please don't bring it back. And I haven't posted one of these in a while, but they're gonna be daily now. Yeah, not 5 hours. This is the only 5 hour special, and I'm not doing a 10 hour special. I'm not gonna do a 10 hour special for day 10. I might do a 10-minute special for day 10, but not a 10-hour special. Um, yeah, or maybe 2 hour special. But yeah, there's gonna be 5 hours. It's not 5 hours and 2 hours, 2.5. Alright, because I don't actually have that much time. But yeah. Well, this is immensely boring. I'm gonna charge my laptop. I think, I might just uh, I mean, alright. I think I might not, talk for all this. Because if I do, that's 5 hours of talking. And I don't think I can even talk for 1 hour without getting tired. Yes, I know, I'm really lazy. But, talking makes me tired. But, I don't know. Um, yeah, this is. And it's gonna take 5 hours to upload too, by the way. If you. Anyways, yeah. Just waiting. Waiting. Wait. I'm gonna send Moses in the chat. Alright. Guys, someone's on. I'm in the VC for Project Walk right now, and no one's joining, and it's so boring. It's gonna be boring for the next 5 hours. Anyways, the rules for this are I can't leave this game. I can't leave this the WHITEWALK, not WHITEWALK, the dev test, because the dev test is the only one that's like this. WHITEWALK is actually just shut down. And I also can't go to I can't go to a tab, not a tab or anything. So I can't go to Google. I can't go to Microsoft Bing or something. Can't go there. Have to stay in Roblox. Have to stay in this game. Also, I have to at least talk a bit, like not once every minute. I don't know, once every 10 minutes after at least say like one sentence, which shouldn't be too hard. Maybe it will, I don't know. Also, I have to how can I say? I have to uh I actually think that's it. I mean no breaks, yeah. I mean like no ending the video and then coming back to it and editing it. No, I don't even know. I don't even have an editing software, yeah. And I think that's it. That's the 4 rules. Maybe there's another one was I can if I need to go to the boss room, I have to go to the boss room. And if I need to go eat something, I'll still go eat something. It's 5 hours, so yeah. You know, maybe I'll just make this an hour and then leave the rest. Like part 10 could be 5 hours or something, yeah. So boring. I was listening. I have my phone here. I can do stuff on my phone. This place is not for you to look and see. It's again for me. Yeah, hello, your neighbor. Goodbye. I'll see you later. This place is not for you to. Replacing the last word of the game with. Imagine you're at school and instead of taking the stairs to your next class, you and your friends decide to take the elevator. You hop in the elevator and it's just you and all your friends, and then there's one girl. The elevator starts going up and it goes all the way up to the second floor, but when it gets to the second floor, it doesn't open. And being stuck in an elevator with your friends at school is just 10 times funnier than being stuck in a normal elevator. So of course, you and your friends start cracking jokes because what else could you do when you're stuck in an elevator with your friends? Might as well lighten up the situation because you're going to be trapped in there for a while anyways. That's when the girl in the elevator presses the emergency call button and starts calling the cops to go get y'all out the elevator. And when the cops answer the call, they ask what grade are y'all in? And the girl says she's a senior, and that's when one of your friends decide to make a joke saying that y'all are middle schoolers. And honestly, it's a funny joke, but the girl starts crashing out saying that everyone in the elevator is childish but her. And I guess it is a reasonable crash out since y'all are stuck in an elevator, but eventually y'all get out the elevator. Once y'all get out the elevator, you decide to post the video you recorded to TikTok thinking you're about to get a bunch of laughs out of it. And after a few days, your TikTok starts going viral, so you decide to check the comments to your video. But when you open the comments, all you see is people saying, thank God they didn't touch her. Being trapped with a bunch of men is worse than being trapped in an elevator alone. The whole comment section is just a bunch of girls saying how that girl is lucky to make it out the elevator alive with y'all being in it. Keep in mind, y'all are just a bunch of high school guys joking around in an elevator. Like, it is just never that deep. Imagine you're at school and instead of taking the stairs to your next class, you and your friends decide to take that. Yeah. Imagine you're at school and instead of taking the stairs to your next class, you and your friends decide to take the elevator.
This
you
is
hop
the
in the
original
elevator, and it's
case.
just you and all your friends, and then there's one girl. The elevator starts going up, and it goes all the way up to the second floor. But when it gets to the second floor, it doesn't open. And being stuck in an elevator with your friends at school...
Genuinely, I don't care.
Which one of you got the key to get on the elevator? Jake, was it you? Austin, was it you?
What is this shish kebabi? Alright.
So there's a video going around where this high school girl is stuck in an elevator with 10 grown men.
Fuck.
And it sounds pretty bad when it's said like that, but that's because people are spreading misinformation. Let me make it clear. Those men in the elevator were also high schoolers. Both the girl and the boys were all high schoolers. Yes, still, having 10 guys you don't know, pretty scary, but I assume they go to the same school if they're in the same elevator to the same school. That's besides the point, okay? A lot of people say that there wasn't any camera footage in the elevator, which that just isn't true. Every elevator, especially ones in schools, have cameras in the corner of them, okay? Just because we couldn't see every single corner doesn't mean you can just say, oh, there's no camera footage. That's just not true. Elevators, especially ones right now, have camera footage. They literally have camera footage, okay?
She's standing there and...
But it never opened. Oh, you had to... Damn. An old man was trying to move a huge metal window frame into the elevator on the 13th floor. He turned it left and right, but no matter what he did, it wouldn't fit. Finally, he tilted it sideways, and somehow it fit perfectly. But the moment the elevator doors closed, he realized he was trapped. He couldn't reach the elevator buttons, and the huge metal frame left him completely unable to move. After no one used the elevator for a long time, it switched into energy-saving mode, and the lights went out. Now the old man could only wait helplessly in complete darkness, praying someone would come to save him. With no other choice, he called his wife and said, "Honey, don't make dinner for me tonight." A while later, the elevator doors opened on the other side, and a woman stepped in. She saw the old man and tried to help, but as soon as the doors closed, she realized she was trapped as well. A few minutes later, another young woman stepped into the elevator. She tried to help too, but she also got trapped. Now the elevator had turned into a tiny prison for 3 people, and for 15 minutes they tried everything, but ended up just standing there awkwardly, stuck in that tiny space. And finally, the doors opened again after someone outside called the elevator. It went all the way back up to the 13th floor. The old man, still carrying the metal window frame, was back where it all began.
What?
Oh shit, Church's little girl. Shit, sorry. Oh shit, kid.
Sorry for being out like this.
How was your guys' day? Enter in the comments now.
My bad, bro. I didn't know. Oh my god, I'm so
Senior. High school.
middle school.
This is fucking funny.
Yes.
It's not. Nobody's fucking laughing. You guys are fucking laughing over something in the elevator.
Why would you say nobody's laughing and then follow it by you guys are all laughing? I really hate when people get angry and just say things that don't.
This is bad. I should not be watching TikToks while in a video.
Let's go to hell.
Stop!
God, negative hours. Let's go to hell.
Stop! He was secretly delivering food for a customer, but their mom was in the same elevator.
我到电梯了，我进电梯了。
那电梯口等你。
But then,
这都去了。
对。
去女儿呢？
就走了。
给我吗？我们家的。
哦，
给我噻。
这是我自己的吗？不是，这是我自己的。
好吧。
but that stranger
妈，我错了。今天早上这个垃圾皮，你还给我拿？
可以了。
来拿去。
是要退吗？
给你退嘛。
谢谢。
拿去给我贴。行啊。
then the delivery guy had a perfect plan for him.
给我吃点吗？
你想吃？可以啊。
谢谢叔叔。
来。
Let's follow the important stuff.
Do you want to play 5?
Excuse me, sir?
Hey, what's up, Big Daddy? My man, what the fuck? It's a prank. It's a prank. It's a prank.
Michael Jackson stole my earphones. Michael Jackson.
Just you and me now. I'm gonna touch you. Alright, dude. What the flip? Just you and me now. Oh, hi.
Excuse me, sir. Hello there.
Would you like to try out our new fragrance? It's called the shit.
Bro. Oh yeah, I need to get into vocals. Hello. Goodbye, goodbye. Yeah. Alright, guys, I think, uh, I'm not talking now. Alright. Is there anyone? No. Okay. How much longer? Holy. Alright. If you had to be, like, live in one country, what would it be? Like, for the rest of your life. And you're born there. Yeah, let's imagine you're born there. And all your family and everyone's there. What country would it be? I'd probably choose, like, uh, Canada or something. Something like that. Something like that. Like that. Bro, just realized if I make this video 5 hours, it's gonna take 5 hours to upload. So, what is this, bro? Just a tiki tiki tea. It's good to say goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Beep up, boop, beep up sometimes. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Beep up, boop, boop, bye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. I'm gonna play some Geometry Dash. Not with music though. Yeah. Good to say goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. What is this daily man? Whoa. Why is this daily actually kind of easy? Okay, maybe not. It's an insane, but I actually did well in it. I got 10%. Whoa. That's the best I've gotten. 10%. Go dandelion. Go dandelion. Guys,
Golden Dandelion versus Simply Walk Around It versus You Die versus Simply Walk Through It versus Jump Over It. Something. Jump Around It? I don't know. TikTok is rotting my brain, and I've only had it for like a week. Am I cooked, chat? Am I genuinely cooked? I don't have an account or anything. I don't post. I probably shouldn't have done this in school time because it's school holidays for me. So yeah, but probably shouldn't have done this in school time for other people because no one's joining. Like some people join, Destin sometimes joins. I don't know who else joins, but some other people do as well. I remember a guy, I forgot his name. I think it started with a T. He used to go to Wasmoville and he built really cool stuff. He built like a castle there. He was actually one of the first people that came to Wasmoville, but I forgot his name. Whoopsies. Anyways, he was really cool. But I'd only meet him at like 8 a.m. because he lived in the UK or something. Anyways. Yeah, it was cool. To be honest, I think Door, there's either two, maybe three possibilities on why Door doesn't really care to bring White Walk back or to, keep White Walk, alive. Firstly, it's probably because he doesn't care. He probably doesn't care that, the fan base and, the players that this game has gotten. He probably doesn't care. He kind of just cares for the money, and when he doesn't get any money, then why keep it? Even though there's 20 people that actually play it and stuff, me included. But it's not enough for him. So yeah. Secondly, well, actually I forgot. That's one of the possibilities. He just wants the money and doesn't actually care about the community. And also, if he does actually care, but he doesn't care as much as he does with the money, then maybe it's just because Project Walk is coming out, and he's like, oh, well, people will move on to Project Walk, I guess, which they have. But White Walk was fun and stuff. So just, I don't know, petition to bring WHITEWALK back. Yeah. I'm only doing this. Well, I'm not. Okay, I say that I'm only doing this because I want to bring WHITEWALK back. But tomorrow, what? But to be honest, no. That's, like, seriously, that's not why I do this. I like, by this, I mean post, like, these hour-long videos, um, on here, and begging for WHITEWALK back. And, like, I do it, yeah, because I want WHITEWALK back, but, like, in my mind, I know, yeah, I'm not gonna get WHITEWALK back. Like, WHITEWALK isn't coming back anytime soon. I don't really know why I make these videos. I think I make them, like, just because I like it. I don't know. I don't really have anything else to do. I mean, like, I do have a lot of things that I can do. Things that I should have done, like, earlier, but bored to. Like, I should do those things, but, like, I procrastinate a lot, which isn't good. Like, even right now, I want to do something, but I'm just feeling like that would be a bad idea to do right now, because I just, like, if I do it, then I'm just gonna think, no, it's not good enough. I have to do it again or something. Anyways. Um, Alright, back. So, yeah. Alright. Well, anyways, the second possibility is that, okay. I'm talking about, like, me, why I'm posting these videos. I think I post them because, like, I know that why will come quite back. I think it's because I like making them and I like talking to people and, like, I know y'all, it's, like, when I mean people, I mean, like, the five people that kind of watch my videos. And I know that they only watch it because, well, um, because, like, I posted, Geometry Dash video Roblox thing, and I got like 4 or 5 views, and then in like 14 hours, or 15 hours, something like that. And then the draft video got like 10. But in my Wild videos, we get like 20 views in like 15 hours. Well, 20 views in 10 hours, or 20 views in 5 hours, yeah. So I know most of the people who watch my videos just watch them because I'm the only person who actually makes Wild stuff, or Project Walk stuff, or like that kind of game stuff. Holy, I thought it shut down. um, Anyways, but yeah, um, that's basically like the only reason I make them, I guess. Anyways, the second possibility is that Door actually does care for this community, but and doesn't really care about the money, or only cares about the money a little bit, but couldn't keep it because he didn't have enough money, or he didn't want to spend his money on it because the databases or the databases or something. Yeah. Also, like, yeah, he could just reset all the papers and make everything start from scratch. But then again, like, I think he knows that it'll die out. It already has. It started dying out in February and fully died out around March. By April, we had like 5 to 10 players. So, I think under like 50 players means a dead game. And it doesn't have to. Like, under 20 players, I think is an actual dead game. Like the Evergreen Ball, you know that game. That game averages like 20 to 40 to 20 to 50, 20 to 30, something like that. Like, normally 30-something players I've seen playing it, and I wouldn't say it's a dead game, because people still play it, people still work, people still, like, it's not a dead game, it's just, like, it's just not, like, as, it's not much, I can't talk today. There's not, as many people who played it, like, before, I probably had, like, 100 active at a time, most of the time, I think. I don't really remember, I didn't really play Evergreen Ball that much. I actually did, I just didn't see how much were active that much. But, yeah, like, even though the fan base for that, or the players for that is small, it doesn't mean that it's fully dead and no one cares about it anymore. I only think, like, a very small amount of people care about White Walk anymore. Like, maybe just half or a third or a quarter of the amount of people who cared for White Walk when it was actually alive care for White Walk now. And I'm included in the one where, still caring about White Walk. But, like, a lot of people don't anymore. Most people don't. They either moved on to something else, or moved on to Project Walk, or, they did both, or, they stayed with White Walk, but also kind of moving on to something else. I don't expect to actually get to part 100 here. Like, when I say, oh, I'll get to part 100, when I get to part 100, I'll finish it, or, like, I want to do this for, like, a whole nother year. I don't. I really don't. Like, I'll probably finish this, like, part 10 or something, but I don't want to. But, like, I don't know. I don't feel to do this that much anymore. So, yeah. By the way, guys, if you, want to know, no, I'm not gonna do this in 5 rounds. I'm not, no. That was a lie, actually. I didn't plan it to be a lie, but 5 hours is way too long. I was in over my head, I guess. I don't even know what a saying means, but I think it's good and, like, I think it's appropriate for, like, this. I don't think, I want it to be more than an hour. Like, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it'll just be like 2 hours here. 2 hours seems good. Yeah, I still gotta, like, eat and stuff. Yeah. But, like, I have things in my life. My life isn't just recording, I think. So, yeah, maybe I'll make it, like, an hour and a half. Maybe I'll make it 2 hours. But it will be longer than an hour. You can check how long it is. I don't need to say how long it is. You can check how long it is. There's a weird bug for this, like, jump just thing where the music just doesn't play. Like, it's just, like, no sound effects, no, like, nothing. It's just mute. And for every other game, it's, like, not like this. It's normal, it still plays sounds and stuff. But this one, it's just mute, like, the whole time. I don't know why. I've researched it, said restart your phone or something, get rid of Geometry Dash, then download it again, which I've done all that. Still doesn't work. If y'all have any suggestions on what I should do, if any of y'all even have watched this far, then please do, because please say what the problem might be or how I can fix it. I don't really care what the problem is, just tell me to fix it, I guess. Or tell me the problem. I don't know. But either way, it's just kind of it's just Geometry Dash. So yeah, and my phone, like, yeah, it's old, but I don't think it's a phone problem. Like it's an iPhone 11, so it's, oh sorry, iPhone 11 Pro. It's not like a super great phone, but it's not too bad. I don't know. I'm planning to get a new one, but I think I might not. I mean, maybe for Christmas, but to be honest, like, I think my parents just think, okay, yeah, we don't need to get him any more presents for Christmas. He's already like 78 or something. He's already old as shish kebab, so. Come on, come on. I'm at the end of this level. Come on, dang it! 75%. I'm still playing the same Geometry Dash level, by the way. And it's a hard. Yeah, I know I suck. It's 5 stars though. It's not for. It's not the easy hard. It's the hard. So that sounds wrong. But yeah. So it's not super easy. I guess I don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah. And by the way, the reason I'm like singing is because it's mute. So I get to fill in the blanks. I don't even know if this is the right song. I don't even know what level I'm playing. I think it's like Funky Town or something? I don't know. It's in like the bonus gauntlet or something. I think it's the boneless bonus gauntlet. I think it's the boneless gauntlet. Attempt 67. Let's see if I can do it this time. Yes, I've been going for that long. My best is 90%. I can do this. Oh yeah, alright. Temp 68. I got to like 64% or 65% on the Temp 67. Just 2 more or 3 more percent, and it would have been history. Well, it would be great history. Or bad history. I don't know. Are you all sick of 60? Are you sick? Are you all sick of 67? Answer in the comments below if you want to kill me or not. Why do I keep thinking people want to kill? I think it's because I made a poll post thing in the Discord server for like Project Walk or something, and then one of the answers was, "I will genuinely murder you," and like everyone chose that one. So yeah, now I just think the whole Discord server wants to kill me, but no, the whole Discord server wants to kill everyone, so it's fine. I might bring my guitar here just for this, I guess.
I didn't get my guitar, but just got food. Yeah, kind of hungry. Actually, back with my guitar now. Wait, don't tell me I missed an hour. Oh no, I didn't. Alright. I think I didn't miss an hour. Okay, well. I got everything I needed. I got food, I got picks, I got a capo, I got my guitar, I got chewing gum, I got my phone, I got my laptop, I got Super Mario Galaxy on the 3DS, Nintendo 3DS. Life is good, yeah. Anyways, I don't know what to do. Oh my god. Right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 0. Yeah, you happy new year. Cool. Copium. 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 Alright. Hour. So it's halfway, I guess. Yeah, I'll actually record this and then turn it into like an MP3 or something.
Actually, not that. I'll put a better one. Wait, not that one. I know. No, that's us. I know, guys. Alright, wait. I cannot get it right when I'm recording. I'm not gonna snap it, okay, for that one. My hands are very dirty, but that's fine. I'll still eat with them.
Have any of y'all ever watched Lemon? They're a YouTuber, they're really good.
I really like them. Not like, God, I like their content. Whose content? I walk a lonely road. Train's coming. So many people think I live in Australia. I don't. Yeah, I live in New Zealand, I swear. I live in Wellington, New Zealand. I'm just gonna search up Empire. Dear basketball. From the moment I started caressing your skin. Wait, what?
Where did that dear basketball thing even come from? Like, I swear, where did it come from? I see it on YouTube Shorts and like TikTok and stuff, but I never know where. I think it's from like LeBron or Michael Jordan or something. I don't know.
Michael Jackson.
Whoa. Was thy phone ringing? I think my phone was ringing. I'll just keep my door a little open if it rings again.
I walk a lonely road. Oh. It's on silent. Whoops. There we go. And plumbing. I watched their new video. It was pretty peak. What should I watch from them? I don't actually think I've watched Pandora's Box. I'll watch it.
You get told a lot of legends, but one that's always stuck out to me has been the story of Pandora's box. There are numerous religious and spiritual texts which attempt to explain the origin of evil, the most famous of which can be found in the Bible, in the Garden of Eden. Stories such as these often attribute the fall of man to some sort of wicked being who tempted us into a new, sinful reality. However, the ancient Greeks presented a different interpretation of what really led man to forbidden territory. Pandora's box was a box where God given to Pandora, the first woman on Earth. The box
Wow.
contained all the evils of the world, such as
Not gonna lie, I thought Eve was the first woman on Earth.
by a warning not to open it under certain circumstances. However, Pandora's curiosity got the better of her.
Was Eve and Adam, like Adam and Eve, were they gendered? Adam's a boy name, but Eve can be anyone. In the Garden of Eden. Eden's like both genders too, I don't know. I think they were gendered, you know.
The preceding paragraph of voiceover an AI writing tool which many suspect will lead to a cascade of unforeseen consequences. It seems like we are opening a new version of Pandora's box every day. And while many may experience this as a distinctly modern...
I didn't actually hear like one word she said, so he said.
Growing up, we get told a lot of legends, but one that's always stuck out to me has been the story of Pandora's box. There are numerous religious and spiritual texts which attempt to explain the origin of evil, the most famous of which can be found in the Bible, in the Garden of Eden. Stories such as these often attribute the fall of man to some sort of wicked being who tempted us into a new, sinful reality. However, the ancient Greeks presented a different interpretation of what really led man to forbidden territory. Pandora's box was a box or a jar given to Pandora, the first woman on Earth. The box contained all the evils of the world, such as disease, poverty, and war, and was accompanied by a warning not to open it under any circumstances. However, Pandora's curiosity got the better of her, and she opened the box, unleashing all the evil into the world. The Greek telling of the original sin is rather unique, because it implies that mankind is responsible for its own downfall.
No, it's Pandora's result.
Concerns of man-made doom now pervade our lives more than ever, and are beginning to appear where we least expect them. The preceding paragraph of voiceover was written by ChatGPT, an AI writing tool which many suspect will lead to a cascade of unforeseen consequences. It seems like we are opening a new version of Pandora's box every day. And while many may experience this as a distinctly modern dilemma, it turns out that we've been opening the box for a lot longer than we think. I suppose you could say that humanity's wayward path began when we departed from the animal kingdom. While we once existed alongside animals as products of nature, we have since assumed the role of qualified caretakers, although potentially, it's hard to say that any care.
Guys, do you think Dor will watch my videos? Or has watched my videos? Like any, not just the begging for wild ones.
Since the advent of human civilization after the end of the last ice age, animals have been going extinct at a rate not seen since the last of the dinosaurs. While many may attribute this process to efficient hunting practices, the main culprit lies in the development of agriculture and the widespread destruction of natural habitats for land clearing. These damaging practices have resulted in effects which sound almost unfathomable. At the turn of the 19th century,
Billions of passenger pigeons blanketed the skies of North America. Just 114 years later, they had ceased to exist entirely. The long-term consequences of modern extinction events can be difficult to define on a global scale. It is primarily through localized ecosystems which we can truly understand the importance of individual species. I'll let you know was taught to us after the removal of the Yellowstone wolves. One of the most disastrous ecological follies we ever oversaw came about, ironically, from one of our first attempts at conservation. In 1872, the U.S. government established the first national park in Yellowstone, Wyoming. The preserve was intended to provide federal protection of the area's natural resources, but at a time when our understanding of ecology was still in its infancy, not all nature was treated equally. Yellowstone happened to be home to an abundant population of gray wolves. Due to the threat they posed to humans and livestock, early park managers were quick to label the predators as undesirable. It wasn't long before the Yellowstone wolves came in the crosshairs of a full-scale eradication campaign. About 50 years after the park's foundation, the entire wolf population had been functionally erased.
Oh.
Soon after, what was seen as a solution quickly devolved into an even greater problem. It turns out the wolves were instrumental at keeping the local elk population in check. With their key predators now absent, the number of elk skyrocketed, resulting in overgrazing of the park's flora. Acres of forest were no longer allowed to grow as budding saplings were prematurely eaten. The waning vegetation could no longer anchor the terrain, which began to erode away. Local beavers couldn't find enough wood to build their dams, altering the constitution of the park's rivers and streams. In their time, the Yellowstone wolves only represented several hundred organisms. It must have been easy to dismiss their presence as inconsequential. What we failed to realize is the role they played in a finely tuned equilibrium that persisted for millennia. Disrupting even a single component was enough to throw the entire ecosystem out of balance. By the 1990s, the park had fallen into such disarray that a new population of wolves had to be reintroduced in an attempt to reverse the damages. The fiasco would serve as a hard lesson that the natural world is often far more complex than we think. As others would soon discover, adding animals to an ecosystem can be just as destructive as removing them. In the 1930s, Australian farmers were looking to control the native cane beetle. Their solution was to introduce the invasive cane toad from the jungles of South America. Starting with just over 100 individuals, the Australian cane toad population would eventually balloon to over 200 million. They now inhabit nearly a quarter of the continent and are actively disrupting other native wildlife on both sides of the food chain. Adult cane toads secrete deadly toxins from their skin, meaning that not even predators are safe from their hazardous influence. With no way to limit the population, the toads will likely persist as a constant nuisance into the foreseeable future. The worst part is, they never had any effect on the beetles they were brought in to stop. While invasive animals may contribute their fair share of carnage to local ecosystems, invasive plants have the potential to be even more destructive. Such is the case with the notorious kudzu vine, which now blankets entire landscapes in the American Southeast. Originally introduced in the 1870s as an ornamental, the plant would expand aggressively, rapidly climbing up and over acres of native woodlands. The vine is so oppressive that it effectively blocks out the sun for all other competing plants, slowly smothering and killing everything in its path. Fans of biodiversity should be relieved that kudzu is still mostly limited to the eastern half of the country. As for the Wild West, they happen to have their own kind of invasive vegetation, one that is already familiar to many of us. The tumbleweed has long persisted as an iconic symbol of the Western aesthetic. What many fail to realize, however, is that this peculiar plant is not supposed to be here. Originating in 1870s in a shipment of Russian flowers, the tumbleweed is brought up in the depending on the terrain, they can travel through hundreds of miles of uninhabited land, spreading their seeds everywhere. This gruesome living plant is practically impossible to isolate and remove. Tumbleweeds are very much here to stay, and while they contribute to some rather comedic frustration, Their consequences become much more grim when combined with another common fixture of the West. In the event that the arid landscape is set ablaze, these unsuspecting plants are suddenly transformed into flaming projectiles, capable of torching the surrounding area.
Damn.
It's safe to say that the Timberwolves
Damn.
probably never
Oh,
meant
what?
to exist in America. It's hard to believe that less than 200 years ago, they weren't even here at all. The same could be said about Providence Canyon, which is often thought of as a miniature Grand Canyon. But rather than being forged by nature, this colorful landform can trace its origins back to man-made era. Starting in the 19th century, a combination of extensive land clearing and poor drainage led to tremendous erosion in an otherwise normal plot of farmland in the Georgia countryside. By the 1900s, the subsidence had spawned a gash in the landscape over 100 feet deep and a mile across. Today, the canyon exists as an amusing tourist attraction, but its history serves as a reminder of how even our most simple mistakes have the power to scar the earth itself. While we have been fortunate to come out of most environmental blunders somewhat unscathed, we can only ask Mother Nature to take one for the team so often. Tragically, there is one ecological decision which has likely contributed to more human suffering than any other. In 1958, Mao Zedong instituted the Four Pests campaign, which sought to eradicate unwanted vermin from communist China. Among the vermin targeted was the sparrow, blamed for disrupting the country's supply of grain. Over the next 2 years, the Chinese drove the local sparrow population to near extinction, going so far as to bang drums for days until the startled birds dropped dead from exhaustion. After the near total removal of the species, Mao's plan immediately began to backfire. It turns out that in addition to grain, the sparrows consumed a substantial amount of insects, particularly locusts. With a major predator out of the picture, the locust population exploded, resulting in widespread crop failures and food shortages. After recognizing the severity of the mistake, government officials scrambled to replenish the population, but the damage was already done. The decision to exterminate the sparrow was one of several contributing factors of the Great Chinese Famine, a disaster which led to the deaths of up to 50
I'm supposed to have lunch now.
It turns out the leaders of China had a history of such mistakes. Emperor Qin Shi Huang was unified China.
I'm kind of bored. Yeah. I'll go.
After searching far and wide, people to account for the size of the world. The emperor spent years searching the concept of his army. But rather than granting eternal life, the conquest was the opposite. Emperor Qin vowed to an earlier position around, most likely for
Emperor who?
It took us a long time to reach a basic understanding of the chemical world, an odyssey which led to plenty of mistakes along the way. We unknowingly interacted with substances like mercury for centuries before discovering their toxic properties. Mercury in particular causes severe damage to the kidneys, lungs, and brain, with even short-term exposure capable of inducing insanity. An equally sinister element can be found just one space over on the periodic table: lead. Its chemical symbol is Pb, short for the Latin word plumbum, a name that carries with it a rather disturbing implication. Plumbum happens to be the root word of plumbing, which is sadly no coincidence. Due to the soft and malleable properties of lead, it was commonly manufactured into pipes that delivered drinking water to the Roman people. When ingested, nearly all lead is trapped within the human body, where it remains indefinitely. Compared to mercury, lead is far less potent. Its detrimental effects on health take much longer to materialize. Historically, this has allowed the metal to appear deceptively safe, resulting in far greater exposure to the general population. Now classified as a neurotoxin, lead contamination eventually causes the deterioration and impairment of cognitive abilities. Some historians now attribute lead to the sudden collapse of the Roman Empire, hypothesizing that the leaching of toxins into the population gradually drove them mad. The frequent industrial use of lead continued all the way into the 20th century, but didn't reach epidemic proportions until the release of lead in gasoline. The process of burning tetraethyllead in combustion engines turned the metal into an airborne contaminant through car exhaust. The chemical became inescapable, effectively poisoning the entire U.S. population. By 1976, the lead content measured in American blood had risen to more than 4 times the natural level. The oil and automobile industries lobbied to keep lead in gasoline for as long as they could, but eventually, its toxicity was indisputable, and world governments began phasing it out of production. As leaded fuel was gradually outlawed, what followed was a remarkable trend which illustrated its disturbing effect on the population. The removal of lead emissions from the environment almost directly correlated with a decrease in violent crime. Tetraethyllead was initially developed by chemical engineer Thomas Mitchley Jr., regarded by many as the single most destructive inventor in human history. Shockingly, leaded gasoline may not have been the most disastrous part of his legacy. Mitchley was also the father of chlorofluorocarbons, the compound eventually responsible for burning a hole in the ozone layer. Most people now know this seasonal void over Antarctica as the extent of the damage, but the true influence of CFCs extends much further. Since its widespread release into the atmosphere, the chemical has depleted about 4% of the ozone for the entire planet. As the atmospheric layer which shields the surface from harmful ultraviolet radiation, its weakening is forecasted to cause an uptick in skin cancer and cataracts for the foreseeable future. And although CFCs have been mostly phased out, the ozone supply is not expected to fully recover until at least 50 years from now. The 20th century was truly the point of no return for unleashing a plague of chemicals onto the unsuspecting world. For decades, highly cancerous PCBs would be recklessly dumped into local water supplies. A rather egregious offender of such was the Monsanto Chemical Company, which knowingly poisoned the people of Anniston, Alabama. To this day, the town still has among the highest rates of cancer and birth defects in the nation. PCBs represented a rather unholy achievement in chemical engineering. They were one of the first man-made compounds capable of rendering entire places inhospitable. Even so, they didn't compare to the sheer scope and pervasiveness of another industrial byproduct of the same era, asbestos. What originated as a naturally occurring mineral quickly began to be used in highly artificial ways. Its strong insulative properties made the substance an ideal candidate for construction. By the 1970s, asbestos had become ubiquitous in homes, schools, and hospitals around the world. It also infiltrated numerous consumer goods, including appliances, cigarettes, makeup, and even baby powder. Eventually, all who came into contact with the supposed wonder material would soon regret it. When disturbed, asbestos releases long microscopic fibers which become permanently embedded in lung tissue when inhaled. The substance went on to infect generations of people with deadly respiratory illness. Asbestos exposure is attributed to more than 100,000 deaths annually. Its lingering presence in pre-existing infrastructure continues to put people at risk, long after most places have banned the stuff entirely. The most hazardous forms of asbestos have even led to the abandonment of entire towns, as was the case with wouldnt, Australia, which is said to be totally demolished as of this year. While there are many contenders, the true title for most hazardous man-made development has to go to another breakthrough of the 20th century, when humanity crossed over into the nuclear age. If there was ever something that man was never meant to discover, this was probably it. For it was through splitting the atom which we inherited unspeakable powers of destruction. Even in its simplest form, the atomic bomb had already cemented its status as the ultimate weapon. As if it wasn't enough to convert an entire city to ash in a matter of seconds, whatever remained would be irradiated from nuclear fallout, inflicting even more torment on any survivors unlucky enough to wander the hell we left behind. It took just 2 of these weapons to coerce immediate, unconditional surrender from the most zealously unbreakable military on the planet. It was as though we had somehow transcended the abilities of mere mortals, suddenly gaining access to the wrath of gods. To put it more concisely, we had become death, destroyer of worlds. This phrase was infamously spoken by the father of the atomic bomb, J. Robert Oppenheimer, the subject of a highly anticipated biopic releasing this summer. The quotation refers to what ran through his mind at the moment of the Trinity detonation, mankind's very first glimpse into our nuclear future. Oppenheimer's rather ambiguous relationship with his creation has since been met with irreverence by some, often to comedic effect. It's hard to imagine that the architect of a superweapon would feel any sort of sympathy for its victims, but I'd like to believe that when Oppenheimer said this, he wasn't just thinking about Japanese civilians. While gazing into the brilliant fireball that was supposed to signal the end of the war, it's possible that he instead saw the end of everything. With nuclear weapons, humanity had indeed inherited the keys to the kingdom. They had unlocked the sobering ability to destroy ourselves. By the time of Oppenheimer's death in 1967, the world powers had manufactured the firepower of the population, stockpiled with the potential to transform any ordinary day into Armageddon. Considering our reckless track record with biological space, I have to wonder whether such a responsibility would be too much to handle. Thus far, we've yet to wake up to the nuclear apocalypse, but there have been plenty of very close calls. Every 2 decades, another reactor meltdown reminds us of just what kind of power we're dealing with. The most catastrophic accidents happen in certain areas that have been habitable for thousands of years. And this is all while the atomic doctrine there's just no excuse about one of the worst nuclear meltdowns in history is estimated to remain irradiated until the year 2000. By then, the area should finally be safe for fuel and power. So at this point, it's hard to say whether we'll even be around to see it. As of today, nuclear warfare per se is an unmistakable threat to human existence, but as far from a doomsday scenario, while much of our paranoia is focused on the outside world, our future could just as easily come from the inside. Although an enormous radioactive weapon cloud is quite effective at killing people, the same result could be achieved with just a small dose of poison. As opposed to chemicals, poisons out by specifically targeting critical body systems. Pound for pound, they are among the most efficiently lethal substances known to man. Perhaps we've come to know them a little too well. For thousands of years, the Japanese have enjoyed a delicacy, food, otherwise known as pufferfish. Preparing these dishes is difficult due to the high tetrodotoxin in most fish bodies. Improper preparation can easily prove fatal, as even a small amount of toxin is enough to cause death in instances. Despite the variety of parts that make food available, some people just really like rolling the dice. Tetrodotoxin is only about half as toxic as the deadliest DNA portion ever synthesized, a compound by the name of BX. Originally marketed as a pesticide, its toxicity was so severe that militaries around the world began adopting it for use as a chemical weapon. Eventually, the substance was understood so dangerous that not even world governments were producing it. As of 2015, more than 98% of the global supply of BX had been destroyed. A greater reduction than the supply of nuclear weapons. It makes you wonder if we found the toxin to be even more frightening. While human beings have proven to be incredibly skilled at destruction, the world of poison remains one place where nature still has its beat. Just how the box jellyfish and several species of poison dart frogs have been measured as magnitudes more deadly than anything created. The single most poisonous substance ever discovered is produced not by humans but bacteria. Botulinum toxin is the most potent oral agent known to man. A dose of just 75 nanograms is enough to kill the average adult. It is the key contributor to botulism, a condition which, left untreated, results in total paralysis of the body. Given all that, you would have trouble avoiding. But remarkably, the opposite is true.
About 30 minutes left, guys.
One of the most heavily demanded poisons in the world, used for a cosmetic procedure better known as Botox. As was the case with Edward Chin, we are still searching for eternal youth by ingesting poison. Bacterial toxins are far from the only microscopic threats that now await us in the modern world. Urbanization and the advancement of global transportation systems has contributed to the unprecedented spread of infectious disease. As many are now exhaustively aware, it no longer takes much to start a worldwide pandemic. The next civilization-altering virus is potentially just a 24-hour plane ride away. Fortunately, the most contagious viruses tend to be the least deadly. When it was all said and done, the coronavirus outbreak resulted in just a 1% fatality rate. For comparison, the 1918 Spanish flu was estimated to have killed up to 10% of the infected. Anything more lethal and you start to enter the murderer's row of pathology. What they lack in contagiousness is more than made up for with pure stopping power. Anthrax, Ebola, and the now eradicated smallpox all have a maximum untreated mortality rate of around 90%. Rabies has a mortality rate of nearly 100% after its symptoms manifest, with only a few cases of survival ever recorded in history. At one point in time, all of these diseases would have been a virtual death sentence, but medical science has since come a long way. Currently, every disease that we're aware of either has a known cure or at least a chance of survival. Every disease except one. In the 1950s, anthropologists discovered an unusual illness affecting the foray people
Polio.
of New Guinea. Known by the locals as kuru, the disease would induce rapid physical and mental deterioration.
Polio?
For years, its origin was a mystery.
Polio?
Until scientists started connecting it to the foray practice of
No.
cannibalism. In
Not
most
polio.
cultures, the idea of eating human flesh is an extreme taboo. And as we would soon discover, there's a strong biological reason for that. Kuru is part of a broader classification of disease called transmissible spongiform encephalopathy. The condition stems from misshapen protein molecules known as prions, which bind to and corrupt healthy tissue. Once even a single prion is introduced to the body, it can remain dormant for decades before unleashing an unstoppable cascade of internal damage. Prion disorders are undetectable, incurable, and unsurvivable. They are transmitted by ingesting the contaminated flesh of the disease, which is most often brain matter. So if you want to avoid infection, just stay away from cannibals. Seems simple enough. But what if that cannibal wasn't human? In the 20th century, to cope with skyrocketing meat consumption, cattle farmers sought out cost-effective ways to feed their ever-expanding herds. Eventually, someone came up with the bright idea of mixing the processed remains of dead cows back into the feed, essentially turning the living cows into cannibals. And with cannibalism came a bovine version of kuru, which is better known as mad cow disease. Prions from the tainted beef would work their way up the food chain and into the mouths of unsuspecting people. Some have called the mad cow outbreak the first truly man-made epidemic. However, it was far from the first plague to come out of animal agriculture. In fact, many of the most destructive diseases in history were transmitted to us from livestock. This circumstance is believed to be the primary reason why European colonization had such a devastating effect on the Native Americans. The colonists had lived in close proximity to domesticated animals for generations and had grown resistant to their diseases. The Native Americans, meanwhile, did not, and couldn't stand a chance against the onslaught of ailments from the Old World. Animal-borne diseases have ended civilizations before, but could they do so again? Especially versus our modern medical advancements. Well, it turns out that one advancement will soon force us to take a great step backwards. The meat industry is an aggressive user of antibiotics, once considered to be a permanent solution to bacterial infections. In recent times, however, the microbial world has been striking back. The overuse of antibiotics has counterintuitively made certain strains of bacteria stronger.
How did this go from Pandora's box
The more likely it is for surviving
to
microbes to develop immunity.
you're gonna die
As
from
antibiotics continue
cannibalism?
to be prescribed to both humans and animals, they run the risk of
It's all
losing
evil,
their
I guess.
effectiveness entirely. Experts have long feared the emergence of a superbug which is impervious to any known treatment.
Whoa.
Such an outbreak would essentially set us back to pre-industrial times, where
Literally
even a small
hantavirus.
bacterial infection could prove fatal.
Genuinely
This should be especially
hantavirus.
concerning, considering the worst pandemic in history, the bubonic plague, was bacterial. If a similar resistant strain were to arise, we could be powerless to stop it. Such a scenario is hardly far-fetched. Antibiotic-resistant bacteria is already responsible for 700,000 deaths per year, a figure that could rise to 10 million by 2050.
Wow. Bring WHITEWALK back. 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 I kinda got a piss. So I think I'll do that after this. I'm ready now. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna do it now.
Not as good, but you know it's Starbucks by Espresso.
Even the dead rings. That's one for Panadol.
There's a misconception that we have left most of our problems in the past, and that we have somehow grown more capable of solving them in the present. It's easy to blame the mistakes of older generations on their ignorance, but it would be naive to suggest that our circumstance today is any different. The truth is that we're still not quite sure how anything we're doing today will affect the future. All of the biggest man-made problems in history only got that way because they weren't obvious when we introduced them. In 1986, an event like Cleveland Balloon Fest was seen as harmless and whimsical fun, while many look back on it today with disturbing unease. Modern concerns of microplastics in the environment have made us reconsider the last 70 years of previously innocuous activities. As of now, the jury's still out on whether plastic pollution is harmful to human health, but for our sake, we had better hope it's not. Microplastics have infiltrated every layer of the food chain, onto the air, water, and soil. One study suggests that the average person now ingests 5 grams of plastic per week, equivalent to the mass of a credit card. By 2050, the amount of plastic in the ocean is expected to outweigh the amount of fish. Ready or not, plastic debris is now a part of our world, and all we can do is cross our fingers that it has no effect on anything. They said the same thing about asbestos and lead, but surely this time will be the exception. We are still very much in the age of unforeseen consequences. In these days, it feels like the price of progress keeps getting steeper. Whether it's the chemicals we keep putting into the environment or our own bodies, it's difficult to not feel at least a little anxious for the future. You have to wonder if we'll ever reach a point where we start creating problems faster than we can fix them. Maybe we're already there. An often neglected part of the legend of Pandora's box is what remained in the box after all the evils were released. The most open-ended part of the story fixates on our interpretation of the Greek word elpis, most commonly translated as hope. Scholars disagree on whether the inclusion of hope in the box should be considered a blessing or a curse. On one hand, it can be seen as the ultimate tool to protect ourselves from the rest of the evils, the lone antidote designed to counteract the wickedness that once imprisoned it. However, a far more pessimistic outlook of the situation sees hope as yet another evil, leading us astray on a path towards salvation that's never coming. It may be convenient to believe that sometime down the line, people way smarter than us will just figure it all out and solve everything. Perhaps artificial intelligence will come to the rescue, or just add to the problem. Maybe if the Earth gets too polluted, we can just evacuate to another world. Hopefully we can do so before the satellites in orbit disintegrate into a deadly debris field that traps us here, with all our mistakes, forever. In many ways, that would probably be the most fitting end to our story. There's a cosmological principle known as the Great Filter, which attempts to explain the absence of other intelligent life in the universe. The hypothesis warns of some inevitable barrier which prevents civilizations from expanding beyond a certain level of complexity. It's possible that advanced species reach a point where they become too powerful for their own good, where the enormity of their problems far surpasses the capacity of their intellect to solve them. Are we on our way to getting filtered? As unpleasant of a thought it may be, the arrow of progress only points in one direction. If there is an unspeakable catastrophe waiting for us at the end of the line, it's hard to imagine we'd stop ourselves before we get there. Perhaps that's the lesson of Pandora's box. Once it's open, there's no shutting it. The changes we make to this world are permanent and
Back.
irreversible. Despite all of our progress, we are still very much at the mercy of nature, which exists to
Bam,
remind us that
bam, bam,
everything we have been
bam,
given
bam,
can just as
bam, bam,
easily
bam.
be taken away. If we are headed towards the end, may we stand in awe of its totality and finality. Only then will we truly comprehend our inescapable reality as united creatures. When contemplating the fragility...
One of the worst video, like, well, not the worst, one of the, like, baddest videos? No, like, one of the not great ones. It was okay. It was fine. It wasn't amazing, I guess.
The Men's Labour government is taking $100 off your reserve, dropping the weekly toll
What?
to $50,
What?
and raising public transport fares.
What?
It's about easing some of the pressure on families right now.
What? Oh wait, no, that's a good thing, I think. I don't know. I forgot. I don't know what she said.
Is it just me, or do movies these days feel artificial? And I'm not just referring to unconvincing acting or graphical shortcuts. I'm talking about the whole experience, from beginning to end. On the surface, the Hollywood blockbusters of today still look and sound like they used to. And if you're watching this behind the scenes or the drop, you may not be able to tell that anything has changed at all. But I do. There's something about movies today that just feels off, like they're missing something. And while I don't know exactly when it began, I do know when I started feeling it. Growing up in the 2000s, it seemed like every kid had a favorite franchise. Whether it was Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, but for me, the fantasy world icon could be found in a galaxy far, far away. It wouldn't be possible because it's not just as big of a deal as Marvel was when I was younger. The brand was in the midst of a cultural revival for a new generation, my generation. The fans that were capable, and bored without it up. My first taste came from a Cobra Studios, and the rest is history. Star Wars became the first fictional universe in which I was truly immersed. Studying the characters and world became a personal obsession. It got to the point where simply seeing a dude with a glowing stick was enough to get me excited. And I was far from the only one to feel this way. It's impossible to truly describe just how much of a cultural phenomenon Star Wars was at its time. And unlike many such as that today, it never came out like a forced ride. The intense passion around the series came from a place of genuine reverence, one that transcended space and time. These days, boomers and zoomers don't exactly know to get along, but for a brief period, Star Wars managed to bring us together. I still have fond memories of watching the original trilogy with my dad, and recognizing that it was a meaningful experience for both of us. I would be able to pass on a cherished trilogy to my own. Unfortunately, like most things in modern age, it came with a catch. It turned out that the new batch of Star Wars films didn't quite stack up to the originals, and that George Lucas may have gone too far in a few places. As time went on, I began to realize just how flawed the prequels were. Despite my overwhelming love for the franchise, I couldn't ignore the sinking feeling that I'd been shortchanged. I mean, after all, for as pervasive as the Star Wars brand was, at the end of the day, it all depended on the success of the movies. So with that being said, is it too much to ask for the movies to be, I don't know, good? Passion is what can only get you so far. At some point, the underlying product has to be something worth celebrating. It's tough to justify being a fan of a franchise when half the films are downright mediocre. But no question, Disney has come to save the day and has watched George Lucas. Well, forget about Marvel. This thing is going to be a slam dunk. They're going to come in, kick some ass, and make their own trilogy the right way. And we can just go ahead and pretend that whole prequel fiasco never happened. At long last, Star Wars is going to release something I can actually be proud to call myself a fan of. Oh boy, if only I knew how bad things really were. 5 years.
How much long? I think I'll finish in like
Absolute horror.
10 minutes, guys. I don't want it to be
Not
like
only were my greatest
super
fears
long.
being realized, but it was worse than I ever could have imagined. Somehow, despite their unfathomable wealth and resources, Disney managed to fumble the bag on the most beloved IP in their entire company portfolio. At first, I didn't want to believe it was happening. After film 2 of the trilogy, things were looking grim. But Star Wars teaches us to cling on to hope in these various situations. So I did, for as long as I possibly could. Then one dreary December day in 2019, I walked into some godforsaken theater in Jacksonville to witness the defining franchise of my childhood meet its bitter and unforgivable end.
Wash your face with orange juice. Wash your face with orange juice.
That's good for them. I didn't. In fact, I can confidently say that no other film, for as long as I live, will possibly make me feel the level of shame, betrayal, and hostility as I did in that moment. I believe it was during the scene where the heroes are fighting the heavily armed space fleet on horseback when I really started rethinking my life choices. Star Wars, as I knew it, was dead. It was something I'd suspected all along, and by now, there was no more childhood naivete to cushion the blow. It dawned on me that all those years I'd spent as a die-hard fan had meant absolutely nothing. I felt like such a fool for convincing myself that there would be any sort of payoff for the emotional investment I poured into this franchise. I no longer cared about the story, the characters, anything. All of a sudden, I wanted nothing to do with the series I loved for my entire life. This movie made me hate Star Wars. It made me question why I even watched movies in the first place. After that dark day, my first love in cinema had been totally and unequivocally ruined. But luckily for me, there was another. Oh my God. There he is.
Hey man, what's going on? Where you been? You haven't uploaded in months.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Your views are going down the drain. You're irrelevant.
Hold on for a second. Whoa, just relax, okay? Just relax. All I'm doing is waiting in line for my favorite movie.
What movie?
What are you talking about? It's the biggest event of the summer.
How long have you even been here?
I don't know, you just start to lose track of time after the first couple weeks.
Him, you gotta get back to work. You're gonna start losing money.
Well, don't worry about that. My money is very safe, as you can see.
I don't think you should be investing in companies
Take like the Spook Post.
Yeah, of course.
They sent me this great camping chair, the Parked Box. It's great for when you're camping out to be the first in line to one of the greatest movie sensations of the year. Of course, what good is camping out for the movie without some nice, delicious movie theater popcorn? Of course, I have a concealed in the middle of the Spook Post weekend or travel. Yeah, they sure do seem to be taking a while. I wonder what's the holdup.
You think it has something to do with the quality of the movie industry?
I don't know what you mean by that. There's been tons of great hits in the past few years. Titanic, Jurassic Park, Die Hard. Seems like the industry's doing better than it's ever been.
Him, you're not making any sense. What are you talking about?
Have you been living under a rock? It's the biggest movie in history, the follow-up to the most beloved trilogy of all time. Hello? Hello? I don't understand. The premiere's just in a couple of days. Why is nobody here? Why is nobody waiting?
Him, you have to relax, all right? You're acting erratic. Everything you're saying makes no sense. Titanic, Die Hard, Jurassic Park, those movies haven't been popular for over 20 years.
What did you just say?
Yeah, those movies have not been popular for over 20 years.
You can't be serious. Rusty, what year is it? Star Wars' downward spiral can be traced all the way back to the May of 1999 and the release of The Phantom Menace. which many fans attribute as the kiss of death for the brand. Just a few weeks prior, a different sci-fi franchise had sprung to life.
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
The Matrix made itself known as the surprise of the year. It burst out of the gates, setting the box office record for an April release. For a film that was only sparingly marketed, its meteoric success had seemingly come out of nowhere. Lead actor Keanu Reeves was mostly unknown at the time. Even less known were the film's enigmatic directors, the Wachowskis. Whoever they were, they captured lightning in a bottle. Audiences were being drawn in by nothing more than pure intrigue. The Matrix packed the theaters for one simple reason. No one had ever seen anything like it. It was ambitious, innovative, and salient. It pioneered such revolutionary techniques in filmmaking that its influence is still felt today. But what truly set The Matrix apart from the competition was its philosophical depth. For many, it represented the ultimate exploration of one of modern man's deepest fears. The year 1999 seems to come up a lot in my videos. I have come to view it as this inflection point in the trajectory of modern society, after which everything seems to have taken an ominous turn for the worse. Turns out the future ain't quite what it's cracked up to be, and while dystopian visions of tomorrow were nothing new, the one presented by The Matrix is exceptionally bleak. Human beings have forever been defined by technology. Our ability to transform natural elements into complex tools is what separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom. But somewhere along the way, tools became a little too complex, and we started calling them something else: machines. While it's difficult to pinpoint exactly when this shift occurred, it seemed to coincide with a time when technology started to feel intimidating. This sentiment became apparent at the start of the Industrial Revolution, when machines began replacing us.
When is that again,
Perhaps the
Peter?
first conflict between man and machine can be traced back to an 18th century weaver named Ned Ludd, who, according to legend, smashed a pair of knitting racks in a fit of rage. By the 19th century, technology had begun to transform the entire textile industry. Skilled artisans were now being undercut by automated factories which could output similar goods at a much lower expense. In 1811, the disenfranchised started lashing out against their mechanical oppressors. Taking after the story of Ned Ludd, this anti-technology faction would soon become known as the Luddites. The movement wouldn't last long, as the military soon cracked down on the insubordination. In time, the cultural consensus would go on to look back on the Luddites derisively, viewing them as an irrational hindrance to the natural pursuit of progress. After all, automation ends up benefiting everyone else. If someone ends up losing their job because of it, they're just taking one for the team. It was easy for all sorts
5
of
minutes
people to
left.
think this
Woo.
way, until all
Yay.
of a sudden, they were the
Woohoo,
ones
hooray.
being replaced.
500 million subscribers.
As technology continued to rapidly advance,
3, 2,
concerns
1,
around
500 million.
began
Woo,
to
hooray.
appear in fiction.
Woo, woo,
The
huh.
American folktale of John Henry was
17
notably
million
one of the first of
subscribers.
its kind to feature a machine as an
Watch
antagonist.
Monium, you'll
The
get it.
legend tells the story of a railroad worker who drops dead after racing a steam-powered drill. Later depictions of our machine-powered future would only get more grim. The 1927 film Metropolis presented the first depiction of a post-industrial dystopia. It laid the groundwork for what would eventually become known as the cyberpunk genre, a new wave in science fiction which expressed hesitancy to the rapid expansion of technology. It envisioned a future in which the pervasiveness of machines would oppress and suffocate mankind. While concerns of technology primarily focused on its omnipresence, others foresaw an additional threat in its intelligence. In the midst of its bionic world, Metropolis featured one of the first concepts of a bionic man, which we now refer to as robots. They represented an acknowledgement that somewhere ahead on the horizon, machines could eventually match and even surpass the capacities of human beings. In the 20th century, much of the pioneering literature about robots would be explored by sci-fi author Isaac Asimov. He is perhaps best known for coining the 3 laws of robotics, which sought to address the most immediate threat that life-sized automatons may pose: the prospect of them turning on their masters. Asimov's work was compelling, especially during a time period which gave rise to the very first computers. All of a sudden, the idea of intelligent machines was spilling into reality, although at this point, it hardly resembled anything human. The original computers were almost Lovecraftian, an incomprehensible wall of electronic components that, by some terrifying miracle, were capable of mimicking the foundational elements of thought. Contrary to their initial humanoid depictions, computers were practically formless. They could theoretically take on the appearance of anything we could imagine. The film 2001: A Space Odyssey would introduce the first landmark appearance of artificial intelligence in cinema. The cold and calculating HAL 9000 would unnerve audiences for decades to come. Director Stanley Kubrick reimagined the machine antagonist as more than a single threatening entity, rather one which served as a hostile extension of the setting itself. This idea would be expanded on further by the artist H.R. Geiger, who produced nightmarish illustrations of living things being smothered by an all-encompassing mechanical environment. In 1973, he would create one of his most notable works while collaborating with the progressive rock band Emerson, Lake and Palmer. The group was finishing their new album, Brain Salad Surgery, which depicts an epic war between humans and computers. While listening through, Geiger composed what would eventually become the album's artwork, an outer cover featuring a sterile metal sarcophagus, which opens to reveal a lobotomized woman. While Geiger envisioned a physical convergence between man and machine, sci-fi author Philip K. Dick took a more conceptual approach. His 1968 novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, features human-like replicants who are practically indistinguishable from biological men. This premise would later be adapted into the 1982 film Blade Runner, where the corruptive influence
Blade Runner. You know what else is something runner? Maze Runner. The Blade Runner thought of like something Maze Runner. Alright. Almost 2 hours. Finally I can go and do something else. I don't care if y'all I don't really care if y'all are annoyed that it wasn't 5 hours. Sorry. Whoops. And yeah, I'd like to say thank you to my friend Michael Jackson, and I'd like to say thank you to my sister Joseph Kennings. If there's a Joseph Kennings out there, you're my sister. Okay. No. This is my time. 4, 3, 2.